You know that old gym mantra, go heavy or go home? Well, what if I told you that's only half the story? For years, we've all been taught that lifting heavy is the only way to build serious muscle. But today, we're going to dive into the science that might just change how you train forever. We'll find out why lifting a little lighter could be the secret to unlocking some brand new growth.
It's the classic question every time you walk into the gym, right? Do I go with heavy weight for just a few reps, or do I grab something lighter and go for that high rep burn? For decades, the answer from the biggest guy in the room has always seemed obvious. But is that conventional wisdom actually right?
So let's just ask the question directly, the one every single one of us who's ever picked up a weight has wondered about. When your number one goal is just building muscle size, we're talking pure aesthetics. Which path is actually better? Heavyweight and low reps, or lightweight and high reps? The answer, I promise you, might just change the way you train for good.
Okay, so when we put that go heavy mantra to the test and actually look at what all the scientific reviews are saying, the result in the battle for muscle size is, well, it's not what you'd expect. In fact, the data points to a conclusion that's pretty surprising.
That's right, it's a tie. And listen, this isn't based on just one or two studies. We're talking about major reviews that pull together data from all the available research. And they've shown again and again that when it comes to pure muscle growth, hypertrophy, there's no significant difference between lifting heavy and lifting light. As long as one crucial condition is met, you can build just as much muscle with lighter weights.
So how can this possibly be true, right? How can lifting a light weight stimulate the same amount of growth as a heavy one? Well, the answer isn't about the number on the dumbbell. It's all about the level of effort you put into the set. It really just comes down to pushing your muscles to their absolute limit.
And this is all explained by a fundamental rule of how our muscles work called Henneman's size principle. Think of it like this. Your body is super efficient. It only wants to use the resources it absolutely needs to. So, when you start a set, it first calls on your smallest, weakest muscle fibers. Then as the set gets harder, it starts calling in bigger, stronger fibers. But the biggest, most powerful fibers, the ones with the most potential for growth, they're only recruited when your body is in an all-hands-on-deck emergency-type situation.
And training to failure is how we create that emergency. It doesn't matter if you're lifting heavy or light, the process is exactly the same. The first few reps are easy, only the small fibers are working. As you keep going, it gets tougher, and your body calls in the medium-sized reserves. But it's only in those last grinding reps, when you physically cannot do another one, that's training to failure. That's the moment your body panics and finally activates those high-threshold, growth-prone fibers. A heavyweight might get you there in 5 reps. A lightweight might take 25 reps, but the destination, total muscle fiber recruitment, is exactly the same.
Okay, so for muscle size, it's a draw. Got it. But this is where the story takes a really critical twist. Because when we shift the goal from just getting bigger to getting stronger, to actually increasing your 1-rep max, that tie is decisively broken.
Just look at the data. While muscle growth is pretty much identical between the two styles, the story for maximal strength gain is completely different. I mean, it's not even a close contest. The research is crystal clear on this. High-load training is far, far superior for jacking up your 1-rep max.
And that's because strength is a skill. It's not just about how big your muscles are, it's about how efficiently your nervous system can recruit those muscles and make them fire under a really heavy load. It all comes down to what's called the law of specificity. To get better at lifting heavy, you have to practice lifting heavy. Simple as that. Your body adapts to the specific demands you place on it.
So what do we do with this? We have 2 different tools that give us different results. Lightweights are great for muscle size and are easier on the joints, and heavyweights are the undisputed king of building strength. So how do you take this science and actually use it to build your own perfect workout plan?
Okay, here's how it breaks down in the real world. High load, heavy training is your go-to for hitting new PRs and building that raw strength. The catch? It puts more strain on your joints, and there's absolutely zero room for bad form. Now, low-load training is fantastic for sparking growth while giving your joints a break, which makes it awesome for beginners or when you're recovering. But you have to remember the key. You must train to failure to get the results.
But here's the real secret. The thing that the most successful athletes and coaches have figured out, you don't have to pick a side. In fact, the smartest and most effective way to train is to actually use both.
This strategy has a name. It's called periodization. Now, it sounds complicated, but it's actually really simple. You just plan your training in cycles, or blocks. For example, you might spend 4 weeks in a strength block, going heavy in that 3 to 5 rep range to boost your 1 rep max. Then, you could switch to a 4-week hypertrophy block, with lighter weights and higher reps to build muscle while letting your joints recover. This is how you really get the best of both worlds.
All right, that was a lot of science, I know. So let's boil it all down to the essential rules. If you remember nothing else from all this, just remember these key points.
Number 1, for pure muscle size, the weight on the bar doesn't matter nearly as much as the effort you put in. Both heavy and light loads will build equal muscle, as long as you take your sets all the way to failure. 2, for maximal strength, there is no substitute. You have to train heavy to teach your body how to lift heavy. And 3, the smartest, most well-rounded plan doesn't choose one or the other. It strategically uses both.
So the debate is over. The real question isn't heavy or light, it's heavy and light. You now have the scientific tools to build a smarter program, to bust through plateaus, and to do it all while reducing your risk of injury. Hey, if this helped you out, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into fitness science. Thanks for watching, and go train smarter.